Same old disclaimer, I've never seen the HBO show this is based on, as my house never had cable. As such, I'm flying into this completely blind. Most I knew about the film going in was that it was a continuation of an HBO television series and that the film would feature a lot of celebrity cameos. While it does a good job of getting you up to speed on the premise, I had trouble really getting invested in these characters because they frequently reference things that I'm pretty sure happen in the show that the audience is supposed to click with and already know about. It's kind of like how in a bad script they'll refer to a character having a trait through spoken dialogue instead of having the character actually demonstrate that trait. Now, it's not as bad as that, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a certain part of the experience I was missing, because I lacked the investment one would have had in the characters had they been following the show. Looking at it as a standalone film, I can't help but feel that it meanders a little too much. There's a solid through line, sure, but it tries to work in so many subplots to the point where the film feels really, really long. What doesn't help is that some of these subplots have very slapdash resolution, making you wonder what was the point of having those subplots in there in the first place. That's not to say the film is without its laughs, as there were some genuinely funny moments. However, some of the heavy hitters were already teased in the trailers for the film, causing them to lose their impact. When it comes to the technical aspects of the film, it has a very cheap quality to it. By that, I mean that it's shot in a manner that looks like it was shot on a lower budget, or perhaps most of their budget went to the numerous cameos that are littered throughout the film. As such, it also looks like it would feel right at home on television, which may have been a stylistic choice in order to keep it consistent with the series, which in turn made it feel a little weird to be watching in a theater. Overall, it's a decent comedy, but I feel like I'm not exactly the right kind of audience this film is aimed for. When it comes to certain films that are derivative works, they can usually stand on their own without the average moviegoer having to do homework. This is not one of those. It tries to be, as best as it can, but it's very much made for people who have been following the show and therefore would have the investment in the characters it would take to really enjoy it. To me, it just feels like a so-so comedy that meanders for most of the runtime. It almost has that Son of God issue where it feels like a miniseries or a half season that was hastily cut into a feature film. If you're a fan of the television show, you'll probably enjoy this a lot more than I did. If you're like me and have never seen the show, then you may want to give this a pass, cause really, there's not really that much for you here. I mean, I didn't really get that much out of it, and so really, this is very much for fans of the show. So fans of the show, you'll enjoy. But if you haven't watched the series, then you don't really have much reason watching the movie. All of that said, Entourage gets a 3.5 out of 5. So that's it for this episode of Romney's Reviews. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.